Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Black Corner, where whitewashing dies and Black history lives. Forgive me if I am looking tired. I am tired, but I decided to come here and talk about one of my favorite couples in history, the Lovings. If you don't know who the Lovings are, Richard Loving was a white man. Dolores Jeter was a Black woman. They got married, so they were called the Lovings. So Richard Loving and Dolores Loving. They were neighbors in Virginia in the 1950s. These two people wanted to get married but could not get married in Virginia because it was illegal for interracial marriages. In fact, Virginia had something called Racial Integrity Act of 1924, where interracial marriage was a violation and you could get arrested. So these two people could not get married. So they went to Washington, D.C., where interracial marriage was legal at the time, and they got married in D.C. in 1958. Upon their arrival back to Virginia, Richard Loving and Dolores Loving met the police. They were arrested, they were prosecuted, and they were convicted for being an interracial couple. Even though they got married in D.C., you hear, it didn't matter if they got married in D.C. They did not want an interracial couple married in Virginia. So they arrested the Lovings. They were prosecuted and they were convicted. They were to serve 1 year at the state penitentiary or 1 year in the state penitentiary. But the judge made a deal with them. The judge said, hey, if you leave the state of Virginia, you don't have to serve any jail time. You just have to leave for 25 years and don't come back until after 25 years. Like, imagine that. Oh, we won't throw you in jail. Just leave our state for 25 years. Just leave your family for 25 years, and we will not arrest you, white man and Black woman, for getting married because you loved each other. Just leave the state. So the Lovings did leave the state, and they went back to D.C. to live. They tired of living in D.C. They missed their family. They missed their friends, although they had a relatively nice life and had children in D.C. They wanted to go back home to Virginia. So what they did was they wrote Robert Kennedy, who was the U.S. Attorney General, and asked them to help them appeal the decision. Robert Kennedy forwarded the letter to the ACLU to help them with the appeal. They appealed the decision twice. Now, mind you, they're in D.C. They're trying to get back to Virginia. So they appealed the decision twice, and the second time they finally won the verdict with the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in their favor finally, and that was in 1967, June 12th, 1967. So they were allowed back into the state of Virginia. Now, imagine, this is all stemming because two people wanted to get married. But in the South, that just wasn't a thing. You could not get married. Interracial couples could not get married because, white people wanted racial purity. They did not. And the interesting thing is like, they wanted racial purity, but when they were enslaving Black people, it was okay for the Black woman to bore your children or breastfeed your children and do all this. So you can rape these black women because they were your property. However, if there's love involved, a black woman and a white man loved each other and wanted to get married, that was a no-no. You know, you have to leave the state for 25 years. Insanity. But whatever the case is, they were able to return to Virginia in 1967. Mind you, they had left back in 1959 or so, because that's when they had been arrested. So they hadn't been in Virginia for quite some time, and they were able to go back to be with their friends. Unfortunately, about 8 years after they returned to Virginia, they were in a car accident. Dolores Loving, I believe she ended up being blind in one eye in the accident, and her husband, Richard Loving, passed away in that car accident. He died. But the Lovings did set precedents with their court case. And when they finally did get a ruling in their favor from the Supreme Court, it forced 16 other states to get rid of that anti-interracial act. So 16 other states got rid of this just by the Lovings couple, their bravery, and them just being steadfast in their love. Check out, there is a documentary, I believe there is a movie. This story is just amazing. Like, I can't do it justice just saying these words. Like, if you hear them and watch them in the documentary, talk about their love, talk about, you know, they knew that it was dangerous for them to get married, but they didn't care. They didn't care. They were going to DC because those two people wanted to be together. So that is a part of some Black history that I wanted to talk about tonight. It is late. I will talk to you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.